For the recording?
I'm James Arnold Taylor. I feel like it's a Senate hearing. James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Ratchet.
David Kaye, voice of Clank.
So congratulations, you guys, for coming back, because I love this franchise growing up as a kid.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
So how did you guys get involved? Well, I know obviously you've been involved, but how do you guys get the role back for both the game and the movie?
You pay people.
Yeah.
Did they have you
black market.
audition by chance?
No. It was a wonderful coming together. The folks at Blockade were very kind and very generous right off the bat to give us a call. It was over 3 years ago, 3 years ago now,
Wow.
and say, hey, we're thinking of doing this, and it's a natural that you would play these characters. You play them so long, and I think that they had their pulse on the fact that the audience would have, I think, would have said no if there wasn't someone.
Yeah, I think so. That's always a concern, you know, when you're doing a project like this, you know, a Hollywood movie. And I was talking to someone earlier about Twitter trending the day it was announced the movie would happen, and we were part of the cast. And I've never been involved in anything trending at all in my life.
You're trending to me, baby.
But I'm trending now, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was trending on Twitter. They were everybody said, "Oh, I'm glad they kept the voices, and I'm glad they're doing the." You know, people sort of were hoping it would be an origin story. I know there was some tweets that said, "I hope it's an origin story," and you know.
It was really important. I think it was important to do that too, because you want to get in new fans, but then also you want to keep the other fans happy. And the coolest thing for me was that we got to redo the first game, which I was actually not the voice of Ratchet in the very first game. I've been the voice of Ratchet in everything since then. I've done like 16, 17 games as Ratchet, where he's had cameos and things and what have you. And we've done, I don't know, what, 12, 13
Remember the golf
games.
one? Did you do
golf
4?
One, yeah.
Didn't you play 4?
Yeah, Hot
I
Shots
love
Golf
that.
4.
I played myself. I was
Yeah.
Clank on the golf course with a golf club.
So it's cool to go back in time and not a crack in time, but back in time.
Oh, up
not
your
the
arsenal.
future, because that's it. Oh,
Up your arsenal.
Gonna go commando here in a second.
You mentioned bringing in new fans. I'm one of those new fans.
Oh, thank
so
you.
what are the specifics of your efforts in making sure that this adaptation that has a cinematic storyline but also attracts fans that are not maybe familiar with the games?
It's been the origin about how they met and how it all happened, and telling that story is tantamount and so important to establishing the relationship and the rest of a whole franchise.
Yeah, and
it
allowing
goes right down to that.
You as a fan to feel like you're in the same place as everybody else. And
Yeah,
knows
it has to feel
everybody.
fresh and new to you, as if you're seeing it for the first time,
Yeah.
and which is what we hope will happen. And I think they've done a great job.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I just can't wait to see it.
As voice actors, you know, sometimes you guys are asked to do a specific type of voice. Sometimes they ask you to do something completely original. Sometimes they ask you to do flat out impersonations. How was the approach, you know, coming up with Ratchet and Clank when you first did your incarnation of them?
It's different. I'm just going to toot David's horn for a minute, and then I'll let him talk and blather on. His voice, I don't know who else could have done the voice of Clank. It is the most original, wonderful, beautiful, and the way it comes out, and it's not processed. It's just David, and you listen to David's voice, you'd never guess that it was inside of him, but it's perfect. I love the voice of Clank. So I don't know how it came about for your audition. But
It was one of those things where, you know how I sort of come up with characters, sometimes I'll just, if nothing's happening, you get a paragraph and there'll be a little description of it. It was basically a paragraph, that's all it was, no picture or anything. And we wanted to have a personality but not sound too robotic. I remember those key points. And so I was reading the description and I started doing this and that is, and you know, my head started doing all this stuff. And the one thing about doing a character like that is once you start, you have to, every time you do that character, and I've come out of sessions and my neck has to be adjusted and I have to go to the chiropractor because...
you're talking about 4 hours.
Yeah, because and if we go in and I'm not feeling it that day, when I'm tired or whatever, and I know that Morgan Gerhardt, who was an engineer at the time, do a Technicolor, and he said, it's not quite there, and he said, your head's not moving. I go, oh yeah, hang on, okay, Ratchet, and then it would happen. That's how I just come up with the voice, and then the laugh came out of, I think, Jackie time.
Yeah, he's one of our sound editors and sound designers.
Yeah, so how would he laugh? And I go, gee, I don't know, like oh, try that, like and so that became the Scooby. So the direction, well, give us a little Scooby after that line, or try that. And so that became his laugh. He just developed over the.
It's a beautiful voice. I love hearing it, and for me, it was different because I came in again as the second Ratchet, and Mikey Kelly, who's a wonderful actor. In fact, we were in Kevin Monroe's other film TMNT together as Ninja Turtle brothers. We're good friends, and so we harass each other. Mikey was the original voice of Ratchet. He's got a different kind of sound, and it's a little more there. And they wanted, I guess, to just change it up a little, and my voice has a little more of a, I visualize voices, so mine's a little more rounded, it's a little more, it's softer in that tone and stuff. And so they went for that, and I just got to be me, which is very rare, because I'm usually other people, whether it be Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Johnny Test, who's totally awesome and obnoxious. So it's wonderful to get to do something that's gone for so long in my regular voice.
And then I know we touched on earlier how Ratchet and Clank has had such a long, dedicated fan base, and then we also talked about trying to bring new fans in with the movie. And from the clips that we've seen so far, it's doing something where it's like blending the original origins and adding some new lore into it that was from future games.
Yeah.
So how well do you guys think that long-established fans are going to take to some of the adjustments that have been made to kind of adapt it into that film world?
I think they'll dig it. I think what's cool is there's so many places now you can go. If you want to do another film, the fans are going to go, oh, well, they should do, what about this weapon? And what about that story? Why do they follow this? Why do they go to that plan? There's an endless sort of bottomless pit of ways to go with this story if it's done right and they enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that's the reminder to people too, is to if your favorite thing is missing from it, remember, go see it. You're going to get it. Hopefully we'll do more of them. And know that they are trying to appeal to an audience that maybe doesn't know this for the first time too, and so they're going to pull out some things that have become favorites, but it became your favorite because you played literally 3-4 games with those characters in it. You got to know those characters. You're a plumber, a fly. It's like you want to have all these bits and pieces, but know that this is hopefully just the beginning of a new world that Ratchet and Clank get to explore and stuff. So I say patience to the ones that don't see their favorite in there. Hope for the best.
Yeah.
You guys just didn't do the movie, you're also rebooting the game as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys do recording around the same time, and how was it going from movie and game for you guys at the same time?
Guys, this will be the last question.
Okay.
Well, it was sort of seamless. There were some extra fun things that happened in the game, like those little cutaway games. You play those little things. What do they call those? They're called not cutaways.
Cutscenes, but
you can play a game
the
within a
extra
game.
little games,
Like a mini game?
Yeah, the mini games. Because when I played the first game all the way through, I loved exploring. I would walk off in some distance and I would find some cool things, and I loved that about the game because it sort of seemed endless how many places you could kind of go and play around in this area. And I think there's even more of that, and side stories and stuff. So I just love how deep it is.
Yeah, we recorded the movie over a year ago, probably like 2 years ago, and then you go in for pickups and adjustments and ADR and such. And the game started a few months after. At least we were talking about this the other day, and it was a natural progression, but it was weird. So there was some time. Plus, they're in completely different studios, different environments, different directors, different writers, different. It's all very different, which was strange because it's always been the same. We've always had TJ Fixman writing these games and working with the folks at Insomniac. So when we do the game, it's back with the folks at Insomniac. When we do the movie, it's with all the other folks and two different worlds, but the characters seem to work in both.
Yeah.
I give credit to the characters, not to us.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.